Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. And I am super excited. Today, I'm going to make one of the recipes that I love the most. It's chicken fricassee, and we eat it usually always with rice. And I'm going to make a Puerto Rican rice, which is called arroz con guandules or pigeon pea rice. And this is what my family asked me to make for Christmas. No matter what what holiday we're celebrating, they always ask for this kind of food. This is what they love, and this is what we do. But of course, I am a wellness chef, and I have to make it a little bit healthier. So that's what I'm going to be doing for today. And you will be, you will learn how I make it with the same flair, the same Caribbean flavor that we used to eat, but a little bit healthier, right? So take a pad, you can take notes, ask me questions anytime you want, and interrupt me. I am going to be recording the class. You will be getting the recording, you will be getting the recipes. And Meme, I cannot put you as a host, but it's okay, don't worry. I will manage. So I'm going to start making the rice because the rice is going to take 20 minutes. I haven't done the rice yet. So I want to do it with you because this is something that not a lot of people use to make. I know maybe in Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Haiti, we use the guandules or the pigeon peas. You can see I have two cameras. In one, I do the close-up for the food and the things that I'm doing. So you can see, look at my two cameras or put your view in speaker and you will have the two cameras in front of you. This is dry pigeon peas. There are two ones, pigeon peas dry and the green ones. We use them into either or is fine. I am not advertising Goya, but this is the best brand for pigeon peas. For anything else, I use my dry beans. So I'm doing the dry ones. They have tons of fiber and tons of nutrients as any other beans. And you know that rice and beans, the combination of rice and beans are a perfect combination. That's why we are so, not so, but we are less unhealthy than when we move to the United States, when we stay in our country, unless we continue the same diet. Hello, you can ask questions. You don't have to raise your hand on anything, just ask questions. I am not seeing you. I'm going to stop everybody's video. You don't have to have your video on. And please just make sure you write your name in the chat. I want to make sure I get your attendance. But if you have questions, just take your mute and interrupt me, okay? Deal? Anybody had a question? I saw somebody with their hands up. So I'm going to use un caldero. Caldero are made with aluminum. This is the best vessel to do your rice. I love my caldero. It has many years with me. And I don't know why, but the rice tastes better when you make it in a caldero. And arroz con guandules, or any pigeon peas that I grew up with cooking and eating, like moros, which is black beans, or the gandules, or red beans, which is con gris. So we have different names for different type of beans. We always use it, the typical way of doing it is putting pork, or using some kind of lard, but I am not going to use pork or lard. I'm going to use pork, but I'm going to use bacon, just 2 slices of bacon. And this is center cut, no sugar added. This is important. This is a key ingredient to keep the same flavor without adding a lot of fat. And also I'm going to put a little bit of chicken stock instead of more oil. So when you see me cooking, I always cook with chicken stock or with water instead of using oil. But because I am doing bacon, that's gonna be my, like the grease for the rice. I might just put another extra teaspoon, but we don't have to put a lot because the bacon is going to render that fat and it's going to also give flavor to the rice. You can see it inside. Let me see if I can put the camera so you can see it. Ah, much better. Much better, right? Yep. You can see it better. Awesome. So you see, I have it in medium high, and I'm going to render the fat, and I'm going to cook the bacon a little bit, but I don't want it toasty. I just want to use the bacon for flavor and for fat. And another key way of doing is you get rice should be rinsed. I rinse the rice several times, and I have 2 cups of rice in here. I'm going to be using 2 cups of the pigeon peas. I'm going to use a lot of onions. I'm going to put onions, chopped onions, about almost a whole onion. And guys, onions is amazing. Onions have a lot of nutrients as well. I put onions in all my dishes. And for these 2 dishes, so what I do is I put white onions, yellow onions in the rice, and I'm going to put red onion in the chicken. Here are the pigeon peas. They're called guandules in Spanish or pigeon peas in English. And they have a distinctive taste. Not everybody is crazy about it, I'm going to be honest. I think the people that are not used to it, it takes someone to do a really good arroz con guandules for them to like it, or maybe it takes a little bit for them to get used to the flavor, because they are more like, they're more pungent than the other beans. They have their own personality, I will say. And this is very simple. This is salt and pepper and onions and the fat. And I'm going to have my garlic. I have garlic in here. And I also do my sofrito. The sofrito, you have seen me cooking with this all the time. This is garlic, onion, Cubanelle pepper, and also culantro, which is this. Culantro is very similar at cilantro, but it's more pungent. So I mix all that in the blender, and I always have it for the week. Hello, welcome. Please write your name in the chat so I know you're here and I take attendance. So I'm gonna put a really good tablespoon of the garlic, and I don't want my onions to burn, nor my bacon, so I put a little bit of water. No water, in this case is chicken stock, because it also gives flavor and it also gives more nutrients, because that chicken broth. And if I have chicken broth made homemade, I use that. If not, I use an organic brand. I like this one. Organic free range brand. I find it in Publix, or I think even Walmart has them. So I'm going to also put 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and I love this one. It comes like in a tube. It's like a tomato paste is tomato flavor concentrate. And I'm going to have also some little bit of salt, little bit of pepper, like a teaspoon. And if you follow me on Instagram, Chef D Jimenez, Chef D. Jimenez, you saw me doing my sazon completa or Latin mix. This has cumin, coriander, garlic and onion, and I grind everything from scratch as well. I know it's a lot of cooking, but I don't do everything in one day. Obviously, I have a gigantic blend of this. I have my garlic already done, my Fricassee already done. I have onion peel in the refrigerator. So it's not that every time you're cooking is a process of 3 days, but you have things already made in your kitchen and you can whip up your meal faster, right? So this is the base and the flavor. Look at this. Look at this amazing concussion of flavors in here. Onions, garlic, peppers, culantro, onions. Did I say onions already? All these things, and I'm going now. You have to be very careful that the liquid gets evaporated, because if not, you don't want the rice mushy. That's another thing that happens all the time. Now I'm going to put my pigeon peas, and because these are canned pigeon peas, I rinse them. I don't leave that water from the can. I rinse them and I do not put the water. So I'm going to cook them for a few minutes so they get happy there with that sofrito that I have created. This is like a sofrito, and every culture, including Italian, they call it sofrito. When they mix the onion product and the garlic and the tomato, they make a sofrito, and that's the base for a lot of their cooking. So that's exactly how we cook as well. So my grandma was the one that I learned to cook from before I went to culinary school. Obviously, I already knew how to cook. She was Cuban and Dominican. So she has a good mixture. And when I came to Miami 25 years ago, I realized how much Cuban she had in her. I thought she was more Dominican. The food that she was cooking was Dominican, but she has a lot of Cuban influences because her mother and her dad, they were Cuban. And she came, I think she was taken to Dominican Republic when she was very young. So she had those influences. So this is getting a little bit of, flavoring. And now I'm going to add my liquid. So I'm going to have 2 cups of liquid. And I have a combination of here, 1 cup of water and 1 cup of chicken broth. Okay. I have 2 cups of rice and 2 cups of liquid. This is tricky, right? Now I'm going to let it boil a high heat. I'm going to taste that water. I want it to be salty, like sea salt, like the salt of the sea, because my grandmother used to say that if you don't taste the salt in your rice water, then the rice is not going to absorb any of it. So I'm going to put the rice. No matter what kind of rice you're doing, no matter how much of rice you're doing, it's 20 minutes. Completely sealed. Okay, so now I'm going to check if the amount of water is good. I usually put a tiny bit more, not much more. Tiny bit more, depending on how I see it. And my grandmother used to do this trick. She would put a spoon in the middle It never happened to me. I have never been able to do that. She will put a spoon, right? And the spoon was supposed to stay. Oh my goodness, I did it. She used to put a spoon and the spoon was supposed to stay in the middle, right? And if that happened, that was the perfect amount of water. I think I always put too much water. One more. Okay, so now I'm gonna taste this water, the broth. Oh wow, I can taste a little bit spicy with how you call it, the garlic and the pepper, and it needs some salt. So I'm gonna put a little bit more salt and a little bit more of the sazon completa. Okay. Today I was giving a class, for those of you that were not there, we talk about salt intake. So salt, you don't have to restrict your salt intake when you're pregnant, unless your doctor recommends it for some reason. And as your pre-test says, you should salt to taste. But if you have any condition like hypertension or preeclampsia, definitely avoid, and I will say this for everyone, if pregnant or not, with a condition or not, avoid prepackaged foods that has they are high in sodium, right? I will recommend you to avoid that. Okay, so let me make some space for what is coming. I'm going to let my rice to boil. Once it's boiling, I'm gonna let it about 5 minutes to absorb that water. I'm gonna cover it and I'm gonna cook it in the back so we continue cooking in here, okay? I'm coming in a second. Let me just make sure I have aluminum foil. Always cover it with aluminum foil because the rice cooks with the steam. That's the best way to cook your rice. Okay. See, it's perfect. The way it looks, that's the way it should be looking. Okay, let's taste one more time. Yeah, much better. Now it's on point. My boyfriend surely will put some more salt to it, but I like it. It's on point. Okay, so now what I'm going to make is the chicken, right? I'm going to make the chicken, and then at the end, I'm going to make, while the chicken and the rice are finished cooking, I'm going to make a quick salad with a quick dressing, and I'm going to make dessert, which is a drink very popular in Puerto Rico. It's called Coquito. It's like an eggnog, but it doesn't have any egg, and it's not eggnog. Eggnog is like with cream and egg. It's more like a custard. Eggnog is more like a custard. This is a blend of milk with flavoring and a lot of rum, but of course, this is for you. We're making it virgin, and I really don't drink, so I usually make my own virgin as well. And it's delicious. And I'm gonna teach you how I do it because there's millions of versions. Everybody has a recipe of coquito in their homes, right? Like everybody has a recipe of pigeon peas or what I'm going to make tonight. Okay, excuse me. Now I'm gonna get my rice. Now, That is, you don't touch it. Now we're gonna cover it. So it finished cooking with the steam, and I'm gonna put it in low, very low in my stove. And I'm gonna put the timer for 20 minutes. Okay. Cover it very well and close it so the steam doesn't escape. Got it? Now putting it in the back. Now I'm gonna make the chicken in here. This is a cast iron skillet and the best for doing pollo guisado, chicken fricassee, or some kind of animal protein that you want to put a lot of sauce and make it a sear it, right? And this is very special way for us to do it, the way my grandmother taught me. So she put a little bit of oil. This was already hot because I had it in the back. See, it was already hot. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a mixture of white sugar and coconut sugar. And I'm gonna let the sugar burn, but look how little bit I'm putting. This is not a lot of sugar. This is just a little bit, right? And a little bit of avocado oil is also like teaspoon of avocado oil. And I like to cook with avocado oil because it's a high heat oil. So to cook in high heat, I recommend avocado oil or grapeseed oil. And I'm gonna put this medium high heat, and I'm going to bring my chicken, the star of the show. So, important tip. Buy the less expensive one, the one with bone and skin. And I take the skin and debone it myself because you can save $1 per pound if you do that yourself, and that is not difficult. So it's very easy to take the skin and the bones. I like it with bones for the chicken fricassee because you want that flavor from the bones. The fricassee has a lot of liquid, so saucy. It's a saucy chicken. It has vegetables, and you will see, I will start showing you where we're putting it. And you let it cook for about 30 minutes or more. So I'm gonna start putting the pieces of chicken. I already seasoned it with salt and pepper and a little bit of the blend that I told you. You see how the sugar is burning? So I'm gonna do this now, and I'm gonna put that. Oh my God, it smells so delicious. I'm gonna use that to color my pieces of chicken. So you see these ones still have the skin. The only thing you have to do is just take it off with your hands. No biggie. And you save $1 if you do that. And do not touch it. Leave it there. And do not touch it. Okay? We're going to leave it there for a few minutes, and then I'm going to start talking about what I'm going to put in it. I wanted to get some color. So I'm going to refrain from touching it. I know it's gonna look like it's burning, but it's not. Hello, let me see, there's more people coming. Okay, so once the chicken has some color, I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna start doing the vegetables, right? Well, first of all, I'm gonna brown this both sides. And I'm gonna start with the aromatics. The aromatics are onions and garlic and peppers, and I have red onions, carrots, red pepper. I have poblano pepper for some heat, but mild, and poblano are very flavorful. It's not, I don't use it for the heat. I use it because they have a little bit of heat, but also a lot of flavor. And I'm going to have a little bit of leftover white onion here, because I'm going to make this amazing sauce with those 4 pieces of chicken. I love to use fresh tomatoes. These are Roma tomatoes, and I take the seeds because there's a lot of nutrients in tomatoes, but they can be very acidic and not great for to balance your pH in your body. And I'm one of those people that should not be eating raw tomato. So usually I don't eat it raw at all, but I love cooked. So although I see that they're very dark, they're still getting some color. Okay, so Roma tomatoes, garlic, all this. I'm putting all this. Look here. You see all this? These are cilantro, the poblano pepper is this one, Roma tomatoes, scallions or green onions. I have all that. It's already chopped in here. I have all the herbs. The herbs, you put them at the end. I'm going to add some kale, because of course, we need to make it a little bit healthier. You can put spinach or collard greens, olives with a brine, and I'm going to put a little bit of also orange juice. So let's see it now. Okay, taking some color. Yes, that's the way I want it. You see, this is still, I want to move it because, okay. Okay. First, I'm going to give a little bit of color to the other side. That is getting happy. I'll put a little bit of salt. I don't remember if I salted it, but it's fine. It's going to be fine. And I have some potatoes. So I am usually I don't boil the potatoes in advance, but because I want to split it up, I did boil the potatoes in advance. So now, and I have a video. I'm going to post a video of the process on Instagram. Okay, now I'm going to deglaze it. What is called deglazing is actually putting a little bit of liquid where in the pan to get all that fun in the bottom and all that flavor. And I'm going to put a little bit of the chicken stock as well. Just a little bit. And that we're gonna start taking all that fun. This is what it's called fun. Like it's all that flavor from the chicken. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose none of that. I know it looks burned, but that's a lot of flavor. So welcome to those people that arrived now. Please put your name in the chat, your full name, so I can take your attendance. Making sure you being here is counted. You guys are gonna get some incentive for being here in my class. They're working on that. There's some, the ones that are in Moms for Wellness program. I am not sure if Neme, you have any incentive for your for coming. I'm not sure, but the ladies participating in the Moms for Wellness program, part of their requisite is to be in one of my classes. So if you're here, I want you to please put your name in the chat. Okay. So now I'm going to put the chicken on the side so I can cook the aromatics in there. Okay. So if you have more than 4 pieces, do it in batches. Don't put all the pieces together, because then that's going to be a lot, and they're not going to get color. And I could have left it a little bit more for more color, to be honest, but I don't want to take too long in the class. I don't want you to be past 9 o'clock in here, and we need to let it cook. So I'm taking all that flavor out of there, and I'm putting a cherry wine, where you can put a white wine or red wine, or don't put any wine, just put the chicken stock. Although the wine gets evaporated when you cook, better avoid it. And now I'm gonna cook. First, I cook the onions in that flavor fond in there. And as you can see, I put 1 teaspoon of oil. This is the oil from the fat that the chicken has, right? Because the chicken has fat, you don't need to put a lot. I'm gonna cook this for a minute or so. This is building extra layers of flavor, layers upon layers. So we have the flavor from the chicken that is already seasoned. I seasoned it last night with salt and pepper and the Latin mix that I have. So that is the flavor. The wine, the chicken stock already has flavor in it and nutrients and vitamins. Now we're putting all this and we're putting more flavor to it. You can honestly use water as well. And if you use chicken stock that is store-bought, make sure it's low sodium or no salt added, because chicken stock can have a lot of sodium if you don't do it at home. Oh, it smells so good. So I'm taking all the flavor, all that flavor out of this. So first, you always put the onions and the peppers first. I'm gonna put the peppers as much as is little. I put half. For us, half is quite a lot. You can put the whole pepper, or you can put the red chili peppers, which based on what you like. And if it doesn't bother your stomach, go for it. I'm cooking this for another minute. So we talk about also today about salt types. So I recommend iodine salt because you do need that iodine for your thyroid gland, and it's good to combine the salt. So I do use iodine salt for certain dishes, like to boil yuca or potatoes or plantains or whatever, pasta. Then for cooking, I like Himalayan salt. I like the flavor of the Himalayan salt. If I put no salt in the cooking and just on top, I use Maldon salt. So I have different salts, and they also give a different flavoring to the food. You can also try, I use a salt substitution, but make sure it doesn't have MSG, which is a monosodium glutamate. Is an enzyme that can cause you headaches and nausea and joint pain, and it's usually used in seasonings, pre-packed seasonings, and in Chinese food as well. That is something that we taught in the label reading class. So remember that every Tuesday I have nutrition classes, and once a month I have a cooking class. Any ideas for the next one, the one in January? You guys wanna, any recipes or things that you want me to cook? Let me know. You can take your microphone and ask questions, or give me ideas for the next class. You're welcome to talk. Okay, so now I'm going to put the tomato. And I'm going to just mix the tomato. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? I love it. I'm going to put a little bit of salt. The tomato absorbs a lot of salt. Pepper. And I'm going to put the seasoning, the complete mix. And now I'm going to put the garlic. We are vampires in this house. We love garlic. I always have this huge container of garlic. Crush the garlic and you put a little bit of oil so it doesn't dry out, and you keep it in the refrigerator all the time. And we have some more sofrito. This is the sofrito. Wow. Wow. So amazing. And this is healthy, guys. Who said that healthy food is boring? I am not putting anything here that is not good for you. Now I'm going to put the rest of the chicken stock. I'm going to put tomato sauce, about a spoon. This is my little spoon. Oh. About a spoon of tomato sauce. I love this tomato sauce. It's so concentrated. A little bit goes a long way. I put a little bit of lemon juice, squeeze of a lemon. I'm going to mix the tomato sauce, and now I'm going to put the chicken in there, and it's going to cook. Okay. I'm gonna put any juices. Any juices, I'm gonna put it back. Gonna let that boil. I'm gonna put some of the veggies on top. Okay, I'm gonna check how tender is the potatoes. If the potatoes are tender enough, I'm not gonna put it now. If they are not tender, then I'll put it now. Usually I put them raw. Okay, they're pretty tender. So I'm gonna hold off on putting the potatoes now. I'm going to put some of the combination of herbs. These are scallions, culantro, and cilantro. Isn't this beautiful? And guys, everything I'm putting brings you nutrition. All this is nutrition. All the herbs, all the spices, they all have enzymes, phytonutrients, and good fat, good flavor. I am going to put now the olives with a little bit of the liquid of the olives. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing I did with the rice. I'm going to leave here the potatoes, the kale, and more herbs for the end. Squeeze the lemon. Look how beautiful that looks. Close it. Okay. They're very heavy. Make sure when you put aluminum foil that you close the end, because people usually put the aluminum foil and don't close it, then you're defeating the purpose. And I'm going to leave it quite high. I'm going to leave it medium high. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Any questions so far? Any comments? No? You guys are so quiet. Okay. Now let's make a quick salad. You really don't need a lot. With this chicken, the rice, and avocado on the side, that's it. Maybe some plantain, sweet plantain. You can cook them in the oven with a little bit of brown sugar and cinnamon, or you can just slice it and cook it in with a little bit of in a non-stick pan. and cook it with avocado oil. You don't need that much for this, and you have a full meal. So I have avocado. This is a huge avocado. I actually forgot to buy more avocado, so I'm using one that we already had. I'm going to put some lemon juice because that's the key, so it doesn't go brown. Okay, so I'm cleaning the avocado, take all the brown spots. Very simple, but you don't need to know how to cut an avocado. What I'm going to teach you is how easy it is to make a vinaigrette. And I like to do this because one of my pet peeves is when people buy dressings that has a bunch of sugars and you know, gums and emulsifications and things that are not needed in a dressing. So dressings are very simple to make. So I'm gonna put some lemon juice to my avocado so it doesn't. Actually, I'm going to move that from there. I was going to leave it there, but it's really hot, it's killing me. I'm gonna put it in my stove. So the fricassee is very different than the pollo guisao, right? El pollo guisado, how we call it, chicken stew, is less wet. It has less sauce. This is supposed to be saucy. So the potato will catch some of those juices, and you can even put calabaza or butternut squash. So you can add some of those vegetables because you will have a lot of sauce in this chicken fricassee. So that's the difference from the fricassee and the pollo guisado. A lot of people are confused. Like my honey, he used to make pollo fricassee all the time, and he called it pollo guisao. And I keep telling him that's not pollo guisao. Pollo guisao is it's kind of the same process, but you dry the sauce, so it's not that watery and saucy, and you don't put potatoes in them. Okay, so I have just 4 pieces of avocado here. And this formula to make dressing is the same formula. So this is red wine vinegar. You can use all kinds of vinegar. Apple cider vinegar, rice vinegar is 1 part of vinegar, usually 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Depends on how much you're gonna make. I'm just gonna make a little bit. So if 1 part means 1 tablespoon. If you're doing double, 2 tablespoons. So, and 2 parts of olive oil. 2, 3. The original recipe is 4, but here I always cut the oil. So it's 1 part of acid, could be vinegar, lemon juice, and 2 parts of oil. In this case, I'm using olive oil. But for example, if I'm making something Chinese, I can use rice vinegar with sesame and peanut oil. So it gives a different flavor. So we love to use olive oil for everything, but you can make different flavor profiles using different vinegars and different oils. And I'm mixing the oil and the vinegar, and I'm going to put some flavorings. I'm going to put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. I'm gonna put a pinch of raw garlic, just a pinch. And a little bit of the sofrito. And guys, this is a vinaigrette. That's it. Here you have a vinaigrette. You can put it in a bottle and shake it really hard so it emulsifies a little bit more. And every time you're going to use it, you keep it in the fridge and you emulsify it. If it's too sour for you because of the vinegar, I put a touch of honey or a touch of real maple syrup or a touch of agave or a stevia. Stevia comes in drops, and you can put a drop of stevia and it tone down the acidity of the vinegar. So, but this is a vinaigrette. That's it. And I'm going to put this in my avocado. And I'm going to put just 1 teaspoon. So I'm not even using all that. Very simple. And I'm going to put some of the scallions. Okay. I'm going to use some of the scallion in, and I'm going to snip it with a kitchen scissors. You can put some sprouts also. I do have sprouts. I'm going to put some. Sprouts are when any plant is growing, the first thing that comes out are the sprouts, and it has a lot of nutrients. Right, so I have sprouts for my juice. I keep them, these are sprouts. Somebody else is joining at this time, or somebody left. Okay. So these are sprouts. These are, has the concentration of for the plants. So are amazing. You can put some of the sprouts on top and eat that. Of the leaves of the sprouts. It's an extra doses of fiber. And because it's with avocado, you're not even going to taste that much. And they are amazing. This is 2 types. That one was sunflower sprouts. And these ones are pea sprouts. So you just have to put a little bit of the sprouts. I use them and I juice them. I put them in my green juice. And remember, these classes are for you to experiment and adventure and try different things. You can find sprouts actually in Whole Foods. I don't know if Walmart has sprouts. Publix, I don't even know, you have a few. The only sprouts that you find is that Chinese sprouts that you find in any Chinese food. But those ones are the only ones that I usually see in Walmart or in Publix. In Whole Foods, they have more variety. All kinds of plants. Oh, I'm going to take that back. Every plant has sprouts. It's like microgreens. The plants miniature, but in fact, that is when they're growing, they cut it fresh, and you get all the nutrients that is like a you know, the babies of the plants when they're growing up, something like that. So here you have it, super simple, sprouts and avocado. Put this on the side. Okay. Now I'm gonna check the rice. Let me bring it here so you see it. Okay. So the rice has been for 20 minutes and I turn it off. You never touch it. And when you're gonna check it out, you do it with a fork so you don't mash the grains. You see these? They should be tender, but not mushy. When you do the pigeon peas, they tend to be mushy. So Chef did a great job. So here it is. And I always like to, you see the little pieces of bacon? Always like to taste a little bit because make sure it's done all the way and you don't find any raw grain. I can taste the bacon, but very little. What I can taste is the pigeon peas. These pigeon peas are so strong. It's good. For me, it's perfectly salty. Like my boyfriend would probably put some salt in it, but for me, it's good. I wish you're here. I wish you were here to try it. I have plenty. That's done. You see? That's the formula for a perfect rice all the time. Cover well, don't touch it, leave it for 20 minutes, don't peek. And in 20 minutes, you turn it off and you fluff it with a fork. That's it, that's done. I'm going to take all this so we can make the dessert. And so now the chicken has been there for 15 minutes. I'm gonna put the potatoes and more of the herbs. Look how gorgeous is this. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit or more stock, just a little bit more. And I'm going to add a tiny bit of olive oil with garlic on top. And as you can see, I'm putting raw olive oil. I'm gonna turn it off and let it finish it. I'm gonna put a little bit of the olive oil with the garlic on top of the potatoes. And I'm doing this step because I didn't cook the potato with the chicken. It takes longer when you have the potato raw, but it's fine. Put your potato raw. and then they would get all the flavor from the juices. So I want to make sure my potatoes are flavorful. That's why I'm dunking it in there in the sauce. And I'm going to leave it for another few more minutes. The herbs. I'm going to cover it again. This time I'm just going to use this. This is a very heavy cover or lid, so I don't need to worry, but because it's very heavy. So I'm going to leave it for another 15 minutes, a total of 30 minutes. Okay, so Coquito. The key of the Coquito is this product here. It's not the best, but if you do this once a year or twice, it's fine. But this is the only cream of coconut. This is not coconut cream or coconut milk. This is cream of coconut, and the brand is Coco Lopez. It's the only one I have been using for many years. It's the only one that I really like and recommend for this drink. Is very traditional, and you can find this in public. So I have mixed here 2 cans of evaporated milk, any brand. I use Carnation, it's the one I have been using. One of these little ones, 1 or 2, I try to put just 1 because the cream of coconut is a very sweet, right? So it's 2, you're gonna get the recipe. Actually, you're gonna get traditional and a vegan one. So it's 2 of this. I just put it in here, and 1 of this, or 2, based on your taste, and this cocoa, cream of coconut. This is very thick, and sometimes you get it and the fat is has hardened, and you need to put it in a blender. But I really did a good job blending it, so I don't even have to use a blender. Okay. So, saw that? Now, the same amount of, that was about 2 cups of cream of coconut. I'm going to put 2 cups of coconut milk. In all the recipes I see is canned coconut milk, but honestly, there's very few cans of coconut milk that I like. I recommend fresh coconut. This was supposed to be done with real coconut. You know, when our grandmas used to do it, they will, you know, shred the coconut and get the milk out of the coconut. So if you can get the better milk, coconut milk, it's better. So I'm gonna get 2 cups of fresh coconut milk. And these are not measuring cup for liquid, to be honest, but mine are dirty. The ones that I have for liquids are dirty, and I don't want to leave you waiting. So I'm gonna put 2 of this. And after you have the baby, you can add 1.5 cup of white rum. But right now it's virgin, but it's equally delicious. So you blend all those milk and nutmeg, absolutely indispensable. But nutmeg is very potent, and I grind my own nutmeg. So this is the whole nutmeg grind at home. So it's very, very strong. So I put 1/8 of a spoon. So it's a tiny bit of nutmeg. And 1/2 teaspoon of a good ground cinnamon. And you can put a teaspoon of vanilla. I really don't like it with vanilla, but I think it's not necessary. All the recipes has vanilla in it. And I'm going to tell you the key. You have to leave it in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours or overnight. You let those flavors blend. And if you are lactose intolerant, what I add is oat milk and coconut milk, the cream of coconut, and you don't put the condensed milk because it's really not necessary. The cream of coconut, maybe you can, you will increase the cream of coconut if you don't want to put milk in it. But you can also make it vegan. And you can also, which is something that I do, I am not doing this on this one, because this is for my family, because I don't drink milk. This is for my family for Christmas. So mine, I cook it in the stove. So I put whole cinnamon stick, and I put all the milk, all the plant-based milk, and I simmer for maybe 15-20 minutes in very low heat. And after I cook it, I strain it, I put the Coco Lopez in it and the spices, and then I leave it in the refrigerator overnight. And then I put the rum the next day, when I don't do it virgin. But this is it. And again, the key is to let this blend. You can put it in a blender and let it get happy overnight. And then when you serve it, you serve it in a small, very small shot glasses. Usually they're little shot glasses, but I don't have shot glasses. So what you do is you serve it, and you should emulsify it more. And so in the blender is better, but I didn't want to use the blender now for the class, but you can use a blender, and you put a little bit more of the cinnamon on top. And you can also, I really don't like to put any garnish that you will not eat, guys. Putting a stick of cinnamon for me is, I don't recommend it because nobody's gonna eat this stick of cinnamon, and then you're wasting the product. But I'm gonna give it a try because I have to make sure it's good for my family, right? Oh, wow. It's good, guys. And this tomorrow is gonna be even better. It's so simple. And it's so decadent. You have the evaporated milk, the fresh coconut milk, the Coco Lopez cream of coconut. I can taste the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and you know, tomorrow this is gonna be divine. Mm. Mm. You can bottle this and give it as a gift. That's what we do for Christmas. Or the whole holiday. You buy these bottles and you just put a label or put a card or hang some kind of string or something, and you give this or you bring this to a party. And you put the rum, obviously, if you're going to a party and it's not for you and you get it away, put the rum, white rum, and you will be loved. I promise you. This is amazing. I don't drink milk, but this is really good. So cheers. Merry Christmas, guys. We're done for today. I'm going to show you the chicken, but we're done. I'm going to stop the recording soon so you can ask me all the questions. If you have any questions, any doubts of everything we did tonight, please open your microphone. The chicken is done. The rice is the way it should be. Look, you see how the rice comes out? It's not supposed to be mushy or stick to it. And the key is to wash it 2 to 3 times under cold water. And put in the same amount of water and rice. So here it is, you guys. Here's the rice, avocado salad, the chicken, and the coquito. This is a simple, healthy, and delicious Christmas dinner that is not complicated, has a plenty of flavor. You can put a little bit more of the lemon juice in the avocado and in the chicken. And that's it for today. I'm going to thank you so much for being here with me, making this meal with me in my kitchen. And I hope to see you next Tuesday for the nutritional classes, and in January for the next cooking class. And you know, I accept any suggestions for the classes, what you want to see. You're welcome to send me an email or a text. So I wish you fantastic holiday and Happy New Year and a healthy pregnancy. Make sure you write your name, please,